Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. So my name is Brianna. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, and I typically work with people who want to change their behavior in some type of way. So how would you like for me to address you? Do you prefer Miss Lewis or Leah?
Leah is good.
Okay, that's great. So please note that any and everything that we talk about will be kept confidential. However, there are some exceptions. If it sounds like you're putting yourself or anybody else in imminent risk or harm, then I do have a responsibility to report that. Do you have any questions or concerns about what I've said thus far?
No, no, I'm good.
Okay, so can you tell me a bit about what brought you here today?
Well, I don't really know why I'm here. I was referred to by my doctor to change my behavior, but I don't really see or feel like I need to change anything.
Okay. So my understanding is that you're here because you were referred here by your doctor to change, to talk about difficulties with change.
hmm
So change can be hard to deal with. So it's understandable to struggle with changing behaviors and different things in your life. So can you tell me a bit about how not changing has affected your life?
hmm Well, it's been causing a few difficulties with my coworkers and my loved one because I tend to get defensive when it's brought up in conversations. I get a little triggered. I'm not really happy with how I respond in those situations, but I can't change what's being done. I can't guarantee I won't react that way again or overreact. Otherwise, I don't notice any bad effects not to change in my life. This is how I've always been. I'm afraid some of my loved ones at the end of their ropes and will walk away.
Okay. So I understand being put on the spot in a conversation with others can make you feel attacked, which can result in you being a bit standoffish.
Mhm,
Um, I understand that you're worried about losing people that you care about and that you work with, which is understandable because you want to maintain those relationships and you don't want them to feel as if you're just non-compliant, just always defensive and aggressive. And honestly, what you're doing is already a part of changing. Yeah,
mhm,
you may not have changed that behavior. However, you're implementing change into your life by acknowledging that something that you're doing or how you're reacting is affecting others around you.
mhm,
But I do want to let you know that your actions don't define you as a person. it
mhm,
your actions is not your character, so it does not define who you are. You don't necessarily have to change who you are. You may have responded in a situation. Okay, acknowledge that,
mhm.
take a step back, breathe, and be like, okay, well, maybe could I have came this type of way? Could I
Right.
have approached the situation this kind of way? But it doesn't mean change who you are.
Mhm.
So what would be good for you to focus on today and moving forward that would make the biggest difference in your life?
Yes, it makes me nervous, and my response may come out more aggressive and defensive than I intend for it to be. But it's hard when people seem to be against you and insist you need to change who you are. I do see how my resistance to change and my responses and behaviors has a bit affected my relationships with others. So I want to focus on that. I want to focus on being able to effectively communicate my displeasure with being told I need to change without being so defensive and hurt by others, without feeling so attacked. Um, I guess that would be me changing it on my end. I could be more open to others' opinions and views on how I act because I don't really know how others perceive me and my attitude. So it would be helpful for me to gain some insight into how I present myself to others without getting so upset. And I'm obviously open to it by coming here.
Okay. So I understand being nervous when being put on the spot. So from my understanding, what's kind of pushing you to implement some type of change in your life is so you'll be more open to others' opinions and views and be able to accept it
Mhm,
without feeling so defensive. And that way you'll be able
mhm,
to understand how you are presenting yourself to others.
mhm,
So I see that that's a concern for you. So when you're faced with these confrontational type of situations, there's a number of things that you can do. So if you have more time, I would like for you to try this breathing exercise.
Okay.
In this exercise, we will I'll have you close your eyes and take in a deep breath, and I want you to hold that for 6 seconds and tense your muscles. And then I want you to release it. And then intake another breath. And during this time, I want you to visualize your happy place, whether that's the beach. It can be at a park with your family. Visualize your happy place and continue breathing. Exhale. And then I want you to ground yourself. And then you can reopen your eyes. And how does that make you feel?
I do feel so much better now. I think envisioning my happy place did wonders for me. The breathing exercise helped me calm down. I will use these techniques in the future for sure when I'm faced with these type of conversations and situations. I actually feel myself in my happy zone, which helped me being able to come back and ground myself, and probably listen to what others have to say. Hopefully, by our next session, I would have used these techniques enough to notice a difference in my reactions and others' perceptions of me and my ability to accept and implement change. This really helped a lot. I really appreciate it.
Okay, I'm so happy that that helped you. I recommend practicing this breathing exercise that we learned earlier, so that you'll respond in the manner that you desire, and it
Mhm,
won't result in hurting others, since that was a concern for you.
mhm,
You can also try counting to yourself if you don't have such a large time frame to practice the breathing exercise. You could just take in a deep breath, count yourself up to 5, and in that moment, you don't have to respond. You can
mhm,
simply say, "Okay." Go back to doing what you're doing and
mhm,
later on respond to this
mhm.
situation.
Yeah.
And then you can also try journaling. I want you to do that because that can be a healthy outlet for you to express your feelings and your thoughts. And then you can share that with me in the next session, and we can either place them into a jar, you can keep them, and we can burn them at the last session
Mhm,
when you feel ready. So this will help you mentally release all those feelings and emotions that may have been negative,
mhm,
and it'll allow for new positive energy and
mhm,
thoughts to flow in. So it was a pleasure getting to know you, and I'm glad that the exercise that we went through earlier helped you
mhm,
calm yourself mentally.
mhm.
Sometimes we need to take a break, and that's
Right.
completely fine.
Mhm.
And remember, it's okay to make mistakes, because as humans, we're always learning and growing, and there's
Right.
always areas for us to improve. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to change who you are, because once again, your behavior does not dictate who you are as a person.
Mhm.
That's just how you responded in that situation, and
Yeah.
you can just view it as a learning experience, an
Mhm.
experience for you to grow from there.
Right.
And I can't wait till our next session to hear how these techniques have helped you.
Me too. Thank you so much.